Hi, boys and girls. How you doing? Welcome to today's call. Hopefully you can see us. I can see that the Facebook Live feed is just being set up, so we should be live. How you doing, everyone? Great to have you here today. I've got someone really special. Her name's Mary, and she's a Facebook advertising specialist. And what's really unique about Facebook is obviously the size of market. If you're into list building or driving traffic or anything like this, Facebook is the big elephant in the room. You can't ignore it. So today we're going to be talking about how to harness that big elephant to do the work for us. But we don't want to be paying huge amounts of money for that, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can end up paying through the nose. So Mary is going to be teaching us how to get started on a budget, and we are going to be concentrating on list building because that's what we love doing. We are the list builders in this group. So without further ado, good afternoon, good morning, Mary.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Dan. I'm really excited to be a guest here and to give some really great value to your audience regarding Facebook ads today. um, I like to call it my biggest goal with Facebook ads with my clients is lead generation. So we're just like Dan said, that we're trying to get more potential customers on your email list, and you want it to be your target audience. So you want the ad copy to be good, but you don't want to spend, $100 on it. And a lot of the clients that I work with are sometimes just starting out in their business. So I like to try to keep things fairly inexpensive for them. And so I started doing ads about 4.5 years ago through my agency, and I came up with this kind of $5 a day technique that I like to use, and it's worked really well. So I just wanted to kind of share some of the details about how I do that and how I generate leads from anywhere from 10 cents to about $1 on a normal basis per lead. So yeah, so like the first thing that you have to keep in mind with Facebook ads is you want to make sure that you have a budget. And like I said, we like to start with $5 a day, but I do a testing period for about 72 hours where I test my ads for about $10 to $20 a day. So you have to be able to or willing to spend that kind of money for about 3 days. But after that testing period, I bump it back to $5 and then I just kind of let it go. And so if you were talking about a sales ad, you might be scaling, you might be adding to that, and you can do that with lead generation. But if you want to keep your ad up for, let's say, 2 to 4 weeks or a couple months, you don't want to be spending a ton of money on it right away. And if you keep it at $5, you can still get some really great leads from that, depending on what your cost per lead is. So some of the hacks that I was going to kind of talk to you guys about too is the way I set up my campaigns is I pick about two audiences. Usually they're interest based. You can pick lookalike audiences if you have a really good following or you feel like your Facebook or Instagram really represents your target audience. If you don't spend a lot of time in those places and you don't have a large list, I would not recommend using a lookalike because it's probably not going to represent the kind of people you want to be on your email list. So I like to start with interest based, and something I use is the audience insights in your ads manager. So what I do is I pick someone like a big name like Marie Forleo or something like that. If you want your audience to be, like a business marketing kind of audience, you would pick someone like that. And then you would click on that interest and see what interests pop up based on those people following Marie, because you want interests to be similar. You don't want to pick too many, but you want them to be kind of a similar group of people. So if you pick someone like Marie Folio and then you pick someone like Pat Flynn, those audiences are really different. And so you don't really want to group them together because they're probably not, it might confuse Facebook and they're not going to be able to target those people in the best optimized way. So hopefully that makes sense, but that's one thing I like to do. I don't know if you have any questions, Dan.
Yeah, I do. By the way, if anyone else has got any questions, let us know.
Sure.
I just want to take it a step back, because what you just said makes perfect sense to me. But
Hmm.
let's begin at the basics, because a lot of the
Yeah,
people
sure.
watching this, they wouldn't know what a lookalike audience means.
Okay, sorry.
And they wouldn't even understand that it's not. Listen, I don't know the level of knowledge of everyone in the group, but I remember when I started out,
Mhm.
I didn't quite. It took me a little while to navigate this entire concept. So what you're
Right.
saying is you need to. So step number one is you need to, like the very very beginning, is you need to have an ads
Mhm.
manager. So you need to
Right. Yes.
go to Facebook, set up an ads manager. I suppose you could just Google that,
More
right?
specifically, you need to set up a business manager account first. Sorry, I kind of skipped some like really basic things. I'm sorry about that, guys. But so yes, if you're just starting out, you've never run ads before, you definitely need to set up a business manager account. And then through that, you'll have an ads manager, you'll have an ad account. And ideally, that would not be through your personal profile, that would be through a business Facebook page. And so I feel like that's really important. I don't like running ads through my personal page. So I would not definitely not recommend that, but that is the first step. And then one of the next really important things that you need to do is make sure your pixel, your Facebook pixel, it's a code that Facebook gives you to track all of your traffic and the people signing up for your page and purchasing and all those things. You need to make sure that is installed on all of your landing pages, your website, everywhere that you're going to use or direct someone. You need to make sure that Facebook is tracking that information. So you need to make sure that it's included. And if you guys have specific questions about that, I'm more than happy to tell you the technical aspect of it, but it's really not as scary as it sounds. Facebook usually has a really great tutorial where they will kind of walk you through where to put it and how to do that.
Okay, we've got quite a few questions here from Diane.
Okay, sure.
I don't know if you can do this. We haven't come prepared for this specific question.
Okay.
She wants to know if she can actually see how to set up an ad, like a hypothetical ad
Okay.
on screen share. I don't know, because I know you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you can. Oh, no,
Sure. Yeah,
that
I
would
could
be
do that.
amazing. That would be so.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with the before we? Well, I suppose you can either create an ad or do the audience thing, the audience insight first. I don't know which one you want to start. Oh, I suppose it's you can, because inside the ad itself you can see the audiences, can't you? So we don't have to go to.
Um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of steps that goes into creating ads, but I can definitely show you guys how to set up a hypothetical ad. And I don't like to do it through the ad set once I have a campaign. I like to create it separately so that I can pull from that custom audience or that saved audience that we're talking about. So I think you have to, let me make sure, let me get into my stuff really
I
quick
need to make you the host,
here.
right? I need to. If I make you a host, you'll be able to share the screen, I think.
Yeah, or you can just, I think there might be like a toggle to allow that in there somewhere. Um,
Yeah, I'll just make you the host, and oh,
okay,
yeah, and then you want to change the host.
sure.
Here you go. That's it. That's you then. And now
Okay,
you should be
cool.
able to share.
Alright. Let me share my
Uh,
screen. Yeah, I know I'm a very visual person as well, so it helps me a lot to see things visually. This is my ads manager. And so so one thing to keep in mind is everyone's ads manager kind of looks different depending on how much time, sorry, that's my notes, how much time you have spent in ads manager, how many ads you've run. So this might look a little bit different to you depending on, I haven't run any ads through this new account just yet. So this is actually a pretty good example. Um, so what you're gonna do, first I'll show you how to set up an audience if you want. Um, so you're gonna go to audiences. And like I said, I like to do this separately from the actual campaign. So this is what I mean when I talk about creating a lookalike audience. It gives you the option, and what that means is that you're creating an audience that looks like your email list or your Facebook following or Instagram following. Those are the three that I like to do. You can also do audiences based off of like landing page views and some things like that. But I find that the bigger audiences from like social media and email lists and things like that are the better ones to use, because Facebook is going to develop something that looks kind of like that, but we won't talk about that right now. We'll just do something really easy. So I'm going to create a saved audience, and usually these are interest based. So you can call it, let's see, digital marketing. And then I usually like to make sure that my niche is really specific. So with clients, I like to make sure that the age range is usually between 25 and 55, or if their audience is a little bit older than that, it would be like scaled in that way, a little bit higher. Let's see, for my, go
one thing
ahead.
I'd say, Mary, from my experience, the age is, I would say, 60 and above. I don't know why it's like that, but it seems that the demographic for it's not so much digital marketing, it's kind of what I would call the make money online. So it's basically people who've either retired or they're on the verge of retiring, or they want to retire, they've reached a certain age and they just want to retire comfortably and make ends meet. So that's the kind of,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's not your
Mm-hmm.
someone who digital marketing could be someone who's got a Shopify store and is looking to build a store, but we find that our demographic is kind of more the higher kind of
Okay.
above, just from my
Okay.
experience.
So if you want to do like a money audience, let's see, like money interest, basically, we could
Yes.
do that. And then if you want to, like, if you were going to do it, I would say probably, if you're saying that your audience is older, so like
I would say
45 to 65
yeah,
plus. Okay.
yeah,
What I'm saying is I like to keep it kind of like in a range and not everybody, if that
yeah,
makes any sense.
yeah, yeah.
And this is going to depend really on like what kind of business that you have. I work with a lot of women, so a lot of the ads that I run are specifically geared towards women, and so that is a very niche thing. But obviously if you don't have that, you could, you just leave the gender as all. You want to make sure if you're English speaking, you want English speaking people on your list, so you would put English. That's one thing that I found is also really helpful. And then this is when you get into the detailed targeting. So we're talking about money, and we would talk about maybe add Pat Flynn as an interest. Smart passive income with Pat Flynn. And so we have this person right here. And if you don't know where to go next, that's when we go into adding, like finding more interests that are similar to Pat Flynn. And the way that you would do that, I'm going to have to get out of here really quick, but basically, we can go ahead and create this.
Do they have JV Zoo or ClickBank or Warrior Plus on there as an audience?
Possibly. Let's see.
That will be the bullseye for us. I know they have
Okay.
ClickBank. I remember that from previous targeting that I did myself.
Yeah.
ClickBank. Hey guys, what do you think about this, eh? You can actually
That's cool that it has those specific interests in there. That makes it really great, actually. So what's the other ones?
I don't think they'll have them, but let's see, because it changes, doesn't it? The bigger they become,
Right.
the more chance there is. So the other one is JV Zoo.
It's ZOO.
Yeah. No, that's not there. Or maybe one
Okay.
word.
I've never.
No. And try Warrior Plus, and that's two words together, basically, no space.
No.
No.
But see, okay, so this right now, the size of your audience is about 120,000 people. And see, that's not really big enough to run ads, I would say. The lowest I usually go is about 500,000. And the highest I would say I like to go between 2 million to 2.5 million people. And that may sound kind of shocking to you because a lot of people like to go a lot higher than that. But I found when you niche down on your audience size, it really helps a lot with the cost of your ad. So what I'm going to show you now is how to find more interests that are similar to these to make it bigger, basically. So I just updated that. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to, let's see if I can find it. There it is, audience insights. This is just a really easy way to find some more interest that will bump up the amount of people you're targeting. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to like, so we have Pat Flynn in there right here. And then you're going to go to page likes. And so it brings up right away other things that people are interested in that are also interested in someone like Pat Flynn. You can also do this with the ClickBank thing that we did, since you said that's a really big one.
You know, the ClickBank, if you want to create a bigger audience than 150,000, you could just have more nationalities, couldn't you? Because at the moment, it's only the US, but if you went,
right.
Yeah.
Usually we add, at least for my clients, I usually do Canada, the United States, New Zealand, Australia, and the United Kingdom. And those are the big ones. And so if you did add those, it will increase your audience base too. And you don't want to make this too complicated, but this just gives you an idea of some different places or things that you could add in there if you wanted to make it a little bit bigger. So these are like different page likes.
So I can actually
we have
go after
Russell Brunson, things like that. So
I can actually go after any of these. So I can actually go after Spark by ClickBank, inbox dollars. I can actually target them as well.
you should be able to. You still have to double check if Facebook has these things available, because sometimes they won't be, but a lot of times they are. So you would have to kind of see what you would want to take from this, and then you would add it to your audience and just see if it's available to use.
Nice.
So if you want, we can go back and do that really quick. Let's see. I would say most of the time they are, but Facebook's really picky about what they let you use for interest. I'm sure you probably know that, Dan, but
yeah.
So let's add in some different countries too and see what that does. I usually just do some of the bigger English speaking countries because all of my clients are English speaking. There we go. So that makes it 160, which is not really that much more, but let's add in.
So that the other one was something Spark, wasn't it? It was what was it? I can't remember. The ClickBank one was, anyway, I can't remember the name now.
Usually when you type in ClickBank, it'll come up with everything that has to do with that. I don't know why it's not loading right now. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's got its own mind, hasn't it? It's not always. Yeah.
I know. Where I know I spelled his name wrong, but it didn't come up before. It's weird. But Russell Brunson, if he's in here, will be a good one. Oh, there we go. So see that, adding that person, it bumps it up a little bit. And then I think I saw Shopify.
And I guess the key is to have and. So you want this and this and this instead of or. Right?
Not necessarily. Sometimes when you do that, it just makes it more specific and it makes it harder for Facebook to find those people. You can do that. And I would say I would do that if you try a larger audience like this and it doesn't bring any results for you. You can try a more like really specific audience like that. But a lot of times if you just have 3 or 4 maybe 5 big names, that creates a bigger group of people. Facebook doesn't have to work as hard, so it decreases your cost.
Nice.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So see, we have 5 million people right now with what I put in there. So that would probably be, I would probably run with that. Okay. And so you could just go ahead and update it. And then another thing that I like to do is so I would probably do 2 different audiences like that in different categories. So we did money, we might do something, like social media or whatever that target audience is for you guys, that you would create two different audiences that you can kind of test and see what does better. But I like to create different campaigns for each audience. So you would create your campaign, and I usually do conversions. I will say that there's a few ways to do this, and I know that this may not be the most popular way. Some people do lead gen, some people do engagement. I usually stick with conversions or engagement ads for lead generation. And when you do that, you do have to set up events, so have to know how to do that on the back end. But that's what I normally choose as my objective. And so each campaign I'll pick one audience and I'll create two different ads going to that same audience that have the same copy, but two different graphics. So I usually test the images. If I really like my copy, I usually recommend keeping one thing the same. So you would keep your copy the same, or you would change and use two different pieces of copy with one image. And so do you want me to take you guys through do you want me to take them through this, Dan?
No, I don't think so. Let's see what people
Okay.
in the audience are
If
thinking.
there's any more specific questions, I can definitely answer that, but.
So Diane, does that answer your questions? I mean, we probably shouldn't go through the entire ad campaign.
It's a lot,
definitely.
So
let's keep it maybe kind of more on a general perspective,
okay.
because
sure.
it's intuitive as well. Let's see. Diane says keep going. So I guess within reason. Let's.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I would. I've got a couple of questions. Let's see how we.
Okay, go ahead.
So one thing that is a bit of a problem for people is getting suspended by Facebook. It seems to be. I don't know if you come across that. I don't know if it's something to do with marketers. I mean, we always work at the kind of this kind of we always push the envelope.
If I could guess based on your audience, I would say that it has something to do with like the money words. Like if you have a lot of people that are finding the same problem, Facebook really doesn't like it when you promise a result, and they don't like when you promise things like money, or you talk about money really at all. So you kind of have to get around that and maybe talk about it in a roundabout way that doesn't necessarily promise anything, but it is, like comes off as legitimate. So I would say that when you talk about those things, you just need to be a little bit creative to not say you're going to make $5,000 in 10 days. Even telling people that, like in my situation, that I run $5 a day ads and it's going to make you this much money, they may find that to be, promising something that's not true. So I would try to kind of stray away from those things. And I usually do that. I stray away from that kind of language in my ads.
Yeah. Okay, good. The other thing I wanted to ask you is, again, one of the weaknesses with Facebook is the fact that they have almost zero support. Like,
right.
For example, with Google Ads, you just pick up the phone and there's a whole team there to talk to. Facebook is a complete desert. However, it's a bit of an urban myth that you do get some account managers dotted around the place. Do you find that? I mean, is it possible to ever get hold of an account manager, or is that really just a myth?
I don't know about account managers, but I have worked with support a little bit. If I've had like some kind of ad rejected or something like that, I just go straight to the help support section and I chat with them and I get them on the chat. Like I get them talking to me.
Oh, so you could get a chat.
Yeah. And so if you go to Facebook ad support and you go keep clicking through the support to where you can chat with someone, I don't know the exact process to get to that point, but you have to just maneuver around some of the things because they try to give you help documentation and it is really annoying. But I found if I can get to the chat and I, select the right thing, like this is not what I'm looking for, this is not giving me answers, I usually can get on chat with them and ask them a specific question based on the account that I'm looking at, and they'll help you a little bit. So that's a way to do that.
Oh,
And then the other thing I would say is with ads specifically, I'm a part of a community of ads managers, and also there's another like element of the community where it's just for like the general public asking about ads too. I can give you guys the information for it, but it's really helpful if you have questions. And so that Facebook community like helps a lot with those kinds of things. And so I usually like fiddle around in there, and then I talk to my community if I really can't figure something out.
nice one. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's not a new thing, right? The chat, because that's a really good tip because,
No, I've been doing it for years.
oh,
Mhm.
okay, that's great to hear. It's always been
Yeah,
that source of frustration for me that I can never get to talk to anyone, but it's good to know that if you keep
yeah.
clicking, you will eventually get to some sort of a chat. So
It's
that's
not easy to find, I'll tell you that. And I did something yesterday even with the ad support, and I kind of picked the wrong thing because it's kind of a general prompt at first, and you have to like select the right thing to get to the point where you want to get. And I didn't select the right thing, and I didn't get to talk to anyone. But if I had gone back and done it again, I would have been able to. It's kind of like irritating, but I do think it's really worth it to try it.
nice one.
Hmm.
Um, I just wanted to make another comment. The Facebook leads functionality is absolutely crazy good because all you do is you need to be, if you just ask for more information and they immediately import the email address of that person into their database, and then you can integrate that
Yeah.
right into, right? That's insane good, isn't it?
Yeah. So that when I talk about interest-based audiences, that's a cold audience, and that's something that when I run lead generation ads, I usually do it to cold audiences, because if you do your email list, that's your warm audience. And so you can do that to get, people getting more engagement through your lead magnet or whatever you're giving away. And I do run lead generation ads to warm audiences, but I do recommend to do it to your cold audiences first, because you want to be getting new people onto your list. So you don't want to necessarily start with warm audiences if that's your goal. But yeah, it is really great. I mean, if you're going to do a sales ad or something like that, I always use warm audiences. And yeah, I always import a CSV file from my email marketing platform. And then we use Facebook, Instagram, your website views, your landing page views, all of those kinds of things. Those are all retargeting too. So,
Yeah, no, I mean, in terms of the cold audience, you have
mhm,
Facebook lead generation. If you take that as your objective at the very, very beginning, you know how you've just put in conversions,
mhm,
but there was also lead generation in there on the left side in the middle column.
yeah,
And the way that Facebook do it, from what I've seen, is you just need to be like, for example, you put an ad and you ask for more information, and automatically that person, the person who's asked for more information, their email address is automatically added to your autoresponder.
oh yeah,
Oh,
okay,
that is just so easy to build a list, is what I'm trying to say. It's so easy to build a list with them because of that, because they hold, their database has all the lead information, all the email address
mhm,
information for everyone
right,
on Facebook, because you need to have an email address in order to have a Facebook account. So we as marketers, it's very easy for us to get people to share their email with us. They don't even need to put their email, they just need to ask for information. As long as you tick the lead generation box when you start the campaign, and
mhm,
automatically your email is going to be built.
right. Yeah, honestly, I've never used that
Ah,
before. I've always just done it the other way because it's
right,
always
okay.
worked so well for me. But I find that really interesting, so I will have to try that out definitely.
Yeah, oh no, it's really good.
I do use lead events though. I use that because I use custom code, and I put that in my pages to kind of track the lead event, the actual action that's being taken. But I've never done it in the way that you're talking about. I know a lot of people do. I just never actually tried that. So
Yeah. Hey,
yeah.
the other thing I was going to ask you, it's a bit advanced, but I know one of the people watching this, Diane, she at some stage she did a sequence with chat. It wasn't chatbot. It was like a chatbot. It was
Like mini chat or something?
yeah. It wasn't
Hmm.
ManyChat. I mean, she's got this page builder. It's called Builderall, but it's got a kind of like a ManyChat functionality inside.
Okay. Yeah.
And what they do, what ManyChat do as well, is they harvest someone's phone number. So because
Yeah.
so they send them
Hmm.
SMS messages, because
Yeah.
everyone needs to have. Well, actually, I don't know if they need to have a phone number. I don't think they have to, but I think a lot of people have their phone number information in there as a backup, right?
Okay. Yeah.
If the account,
Hmm.
if the account gets locked up, Facebook will release it by having your phone number in there. So a lot of people put the phone numbers in there, and if you use the likes of ManyChat or whatever using ads, you can actually harvest um people's phone numbers through SMS, right? Is that really the case, or am I just kind of overthinking it?
Yeah, I've heard that. I've never done it, but I actually have heard that. I heard that you can. I mean, I know you can do it through like Facebook Messenger, but I've never I know that you can also I believe you can do that actually through SMS, but I'm not 100% sure. So I have heard people talking about it though, because it's a really interesting feature, but that's definitely something I would have to look into a little bit more.
Yeah, because that's really the
Yeah.
next frontier. Because what we
Hmm.
find with emails is the deliverability is getting harder and harder with
Right, exactly.
email and spam boxes and everything else. Whereas if you just send someone an SMS, there's no filters.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's very powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that would be something great to try, and with Facebook ads. Um, I was one thing I was wondering is your audience having any issues with the new iOS changes, or have you guys talked about that at all?
I I've heard about it, because just to kind of recap what's happened is Apple is removing the tracking ability for Facebook ads. So that means that anyone with an Apple device, is it? Anyone with an Apple device will not be able to basically advertise to them. Is that kind of the long and the
Um,
short of it?
so yes, I think so. And then the other thing is that they're changing a lot of the way that you have to set up your ads. That's really the part that I know more about because I've been doing it for the past month or so of trying to prepare. But basically, so this is actually really irritating. So the thing about if you're using something like ClickFunnels or Lead Pages or something like that, and you don't have a custom domain connected to those platforms, they actually do not allow you to use, like if you're going to do a conversion ad or something, you can't use that domain that belongs to Lead Pages. They make you verify it. So what I've been having to do for a lot of my clients is they have to buy a custom domain, and then I'm able to verify it, and I have to set it up that way to create custom events for our conversion ads. So I
Wow.
hope that's not confusing, but that's just something to
A
keep
little
in
bit.
mind if
It's a little
you're
bit.
brand new to setting up ads. Like, just keep in mind that if you're using a platform like ClickFunnels or Kajabi or something like that, you're going to have to buy a custom domain and connect it. Or if you already have one that you bought that's not connected to your website or something like that, and you're running ads, to one of those pages, then you can just connect, like if you have an extra domain to connect. But a lot of times people have to buy one and get it set up that way to verify it.
Okay, and that's a separate topic from the iOS, right? So what's happening with?
No, that's a part of all of the new changes that they're making, is that they want domain verification because they're just adding a lot of protections to those people with iOS devices, and they're making everyone do the verification to go along with that.
Okay, so what's the kind of, in a nutshell, what's happening with iOS? Because obviously iOS is just for mobiles. So
Right.
does it affect any desktops, or is it just for people who have an iPhone?
I mean, I think it's an iPhone like security thing, I believe, but they're making you go through extra steps to run your ads, basically.
Right.
So they
Okay.
won't approve your ads just regardless because of this security change, if you don't go through some of these new steps that I was talking about, if that makes sense.
Okay, right, and that holds true for pretty much any ad. So it's not
Yeah,
just
it's all of them. Yeah. Unless you're doing something like I said, I don't know a lot about the lead generation option that you were mentioning, but if you're doing something like that, I'm not 100% sure what that would mean, but most managers that I know do a lot of conversion ads. And I know that just regardless, you have to have that domain verification if you're using a thank you page or something like that, where people are getting to that page to track the conversion.
okay, nice one.
Hmm.
All right. I think we're going to take some questions. Let's see if
Okay.
there's any questions for us. So Diane, by the way, sorry, I just saw that for some reason we've got a setting where when I speak, I'm on there. When you speak, you're on there. So it's not showing the two of us. Not really sure why, but
Oh, okay. You have to put it in speaker view on I think in the top right.
okay. Maybe that's what. Yes,
I've done that a
anyway,
lot actually. I know how you feel. That's happened to me a million times.
anyway, it is what it is. So okay, so let's see if we got any more questions. And Diane says, get them onto a chatbot with a Facebook ad. Yeah, I mean, I would say with that, Diane, is you're looking at advanced. I think your chatbots, you're looking at a little bit more advanced. I mean, my kind of tip to get started would be to do what Mary's saying, which is to get started somewhere, maybe just with a standard sort of ads, maybe build your
Hmm.
list. I don't know, just chatbot seems you need to
It is a little more complicated because you have to have the chat sequence and like the broadcast or whatever you're going to do with those people that get into your messenger or however you're going to have it set up. You have to have that done already. And some of that is really complicated. I've done it a lot for clients over the years. And so I do think the easiest way to get started is just to do a regular ad and then kind of go from there.
yeah. I mean, it's all good and well going after the advanced features and the SMS and everything. I know that's really
Yeah,
sexy, but a lot of people, they try to go for this huge project and then they get confused, discouraged, and then they just give up. They do nothing. So my take on it, especially in the beginning, is just get started, do something, and then build
exactly.
up from there rather than go for gold from day one.
Hmm.
In terms of what is Mary's Facebook ID? She'd like to friend her. Okay, Diane,
Okay.
you can see there. It's you can see her name there. I mean, she could probably drop her name into the comments a bit later on, so we can all send her friend
Yeah,
requests
sure.
and so on. In
Definitely.
fact, why don't we do this? So if anyone wants to get hold of you, Mary,
Hmm.
what's the best way? If anyone wants to run an ads campaign, because you've got a Facebook ads agency, right? That's your business.
I actually have a digital marketing agency, so I provide a lot of different kinds of services from assistance to done for you stuff to coaching, actually. So if they're interested in getting in touch with me, they can just visit my website. And I'm actually in the process of building a new website. So it's just a landing page right now, but I do have a button to book a free coffee chat with me. So I would love for you guys to um, jump on a call if you're interested in talking with me more. You can follow me on Facebook or Instagram, and I can put those in the comments as well.
Nice one. All right, so hopefully that answers that question. Diane says she can't find you, but Diane, she's gonna put a little comment just under this video, so don't worry, you will find her. Let's see if there's anything else. Just bear with me.
My Facebook is also Mary Elizabeth Christian, so that might be why you can't find me. I have a blue blazer on in my profile picture, so I don't know if you want to try that, but
Okay. I can't actually get to the previous comments for some reason, not sure why, but I think unless we have any more questions, what we will do is, so this is going to remain inside the Facebook group. It's going to be recorded. I'm going to send it to Mary as well for her audience. We'll put it on YouTube.
Nice.
We'll send it to our list. So you will get a chance
Cool.
to look at this and then get a hold of Mary if you wanted to. So unless there's anything else, I'm going to thank you very much, Mary, for your very generous time with us this evening. I think it was absolutely amazing. Lots
Thank
learned.
you. No problem. I loved trying to help in any way I can always. So
Awesome. All right then. So wishing you a great evening and speak to you soon. Take
yeah,
care.
thanks so much, Dan. Bye.
Bye-bye.